Hi friends, welcome back to Labor Laws lecture series, and we are discussing about Trade Union Act 1926, and this is the sixth video in the series. In the earlier videos we discussed about discussed on historical aspects. We looked into a bird's eye view of the act, and then also discussed in detail about trade union, trade disputes, and registration, withdrawal and cancellation of registration. Okay, in this video we will talk about funds of a trade union and then amalgamation of a trade union. These 2 points we are going to discuss in this particular video. Okay, let's move directly to a point, discussion point of tomorrow. Sorry, today. This is general funds, which we are going to talk now. General funds, section 15. Section 15 talks about general fund, and section 16 talks about special fund. So let's look into general fund first, and then we'll talk about the special fund or a specific fund. Okay, general fund is a fund which is normally a trade union collects from our members in the form of a subscription, right? Every member will be contributing a subscription, so that is called as a general fund. Okay, here I reproduce the section 15 of the act because it says like general fund can be used for some specific purposes. It should not be used for other than these purposes. Okay, that's why I reproduce the section 15 here. Just I read it. It can be used for salaries and allowances of the office bearers if there are a president or a secretary or a treasurer in the office. So for their salaries or some allowances can be paid out of general fund. The payment of expenses for the administration of the trade union. Okay, once the trade union is there, there will be an office, and for that they will be spending some expenses. All those expenses like salaries, wages, whatever discussed, and even the trade union office related accounts expenses also can be paid out of general fund. And if there is any legal charges or a defense expenses, so that can also be paid out of general fund. And if there is any trade dispute and they have to set off by paying some amount, those things can be done here. And then compensation for a member if there is a loss, if there is any trade dispute and if member suffered some losses, then that can be paid out of general fund. uh, and also allowances to the member or their dependents on the account of a death, old age, sickness. In any special cases, the whatever allowances to be paid to a member or their dependents, right? In case that will be paid out of general fund. The issue or undertaking of a liability under policies of assurance of a lives of a member or under policies insuring members. If any insurance is taken with respect to a members of the members of the trade union or members of the family of a workman, then that should be paid. That can be paid out of trade union fund or a general fund. And if they to give educational, social, or religious benefits, giving a scholarships to a students or a sons and daughters of a family members of a trade union, and all those things can be for that the general fund can be utilized. uh, if there is any periodical which is published by which is being published by a trade union, that expenses can be paid out of general fund. And then finally any other objects which trade union feels that it is for the benefit of a trade workman, then that expenses can be incurred. These are the areas where general funds can be spent. Okay, can be spent. Apart from that, if they want to spend it for some any other special purposes, then trade union has to open or create a special fund, which is a specific fund for political interest. Okay, specific fund for a political interest is dealt in a section 16. Okay, according to this, a special fund can be created for the purpose of promoting political interest of or a civil or a political interest of its member. If any of the member wants to get into an election or any other political interest, then that can be used. The special funds can be created in the name of a political fund, and that can be used for all expenses related to that political ambition of a members. Okay, this fund can be spent in any of these five categories. One is payment of expenses incurred in relation to elections. Okay, if any candidate want to contest into election, any expenses related to election can be met with this expenses. Sorry, this fund, special fund, like conducting any meeting or distributing any materials, documents to support the prospective candidate. If person is contesting election, for him, like for the purpose of that, to print some materials or some pamphlets, etc., that for this special general special fund can be utilized. And next, the maintenance of any person who is a member of legislative body. If any person get elected, he has to maintain some amount of work and other things, right? For that, whatever the expenses is needed for that can also be met through this specific fund. And if any registration of electors, when before election we have to register the electors for that, right? If it is for a graduate constituency, then all the graduates should get enrolled. Persons may go and persuade graduates to get registered as electors. So all those registration of electors can be spent from specific fund. The holding of a political meetings, any kind of political meetings or a distribution of political literature and all these things can be spent out of special or a specific political fund. Okay, the one point which we need to note here is specific political fund is not a compulsory contribution from members. It is optional. No trade union should compel its members to contribute for specific political fund. It is optional for them. Even if they are not contributing, their benefit should not be excluded. Okay, their benefit should not be excluded from the trade union. It is an optional contribution. If a member is interested, then only he can contribute for specific political fund. Otherwise, there is no need to contribute. Even then, if he is not contributed, his benefits from the trade union are intact and he will be getting all the benefits. Okay, two funds we discussed. One is general fund, why general funds will be spent, and the second one we discussed about a specific political fund, how it is formed and what are the reasons to spend this, that we discussed here. This was dealt in section 15 and section 16 of the Trade Union Act of 1926. Let's move to the other important point which is amalgamation of trade unions. Amalgamation of trade union is dealt in section 24 to 26. Okay, what is amalgamation? If there are two trade unions, A and B, okay, union A and union B, if they come together and form a new trade union, it might be C, or they may continue as a A, or they may continue as a B. So anything which is formed from the combination of a two or more existing trade union, by dissolving the existing one and forming a new, or they continuing in any one of this in one of the existing firms name or existing unions name, that will be called as amalgamation. Two or more firms coming together, two or more trade unions coming together to form a new entity is called as trade union, with dissolving or without dissolving the existing trade union. Okay, how this is about amalgamation, but this was dealt in section 24. Section 24 talks about amalgamation, where two or more unions come together to form a new union with dissolution or without the dissolution. Okay. For this, what is the quorum, right? Can only two presidents sit together and do amalgamation? No. The quorum or a minimum members who has to give acceptance for this is from both the trade unions, or if there are more, or then all the trade union members, 50% should be there in the voting. Okay, from this and this, for a voting purposes, there should be 50% should be there. Okay, and then voting should happen, and with the votes 60% should go for amalgamation. 60% of the people should approve for amalgamation, then only amalgamation will take place. Okay, what is the quorum required here? Quorum or a minimum number of members required. First, in the meeting, if we need 50% of the each of these trade union minimum, and then whoever is attended here from both the companies put together, 60% of the people should approve for amalgamation. Then only the amalgamation is valid, otherwise invalid. This was discussed in the case of Booth versus Amalgamated Marine Workers Union. Okay. Moving to this, once the amalgamation is approved by a board, okay, by a meeting, general meeting, whatever we discussed here, once it is approved, then the notice of the amalgamation signed by the secretary and by 7 members. It should be signed by, notice should be signed by secretary and then 7 members of the each of the trade union. 7 members of each of the trade unions shall be sent to register. Okay, to whom we have to send it? To a registrar to update the information for the. Okay, so secretary and 7 members of each of the trade union should send it. If secretary is satisfied with the quorum and the results of the meeting, then he can update the registration with the new entity name. Okay, amalgamated entity name. If the HOs of these two entities are in different states, then the notice should be sent to both the states trade union. Okay, we have to send a notice to both the states trade union as registrar of trade union. Okay, this is about notice of amalgamation. Within 14 days, they have to send it notice. There should be a secretary should sign it and 7 members from each of the trade union should sign this and send it to registered. Okay, then what is the impact or what is the effects of amalgamation on a trade union? There is no impact on the creditors of the trade union. Earlier the creditors are for A and they might be B, but now they will be a creditor for entity C. There will not be any major change other than it is a new entity. Okay, it will be new entity. All the liabilities, assets of old entities will move into a new entity. That's it. There is no major other changes in it. Okay, that ends this small video, short video on trade union funds and then amalgamation of trade unions. In the next video, we will discuss about recognition of a trade union and methods of recognizing a trade union. Till this, if you have any queries about amalgamation and the funds of trade union, please comment in comment box below. Thank you.